Coronavirus death. Today we discuss in death and risk in coronavirus. On March 11th, the WHO declared the outbreak a pandemic, a new disease that has spread around the world. Many countries have seen reported cases of the virus rise within their borders, and that includes the US. There are now more than 1,300 reported cases, and more than 30 deaths, across the US. The spread of the virus and the slow rollout of testing means numbers could change quickly. Meanwhile, outbreaks have been surging in South Korea, Italy, and Iran. With the new virus continuing its tour around the world, here are answers to your most burning questions. 1. What is this new coronavirus, and where did it come from? Coronaviruses are a large family of viruses that typically attack the respiratory system. The name comes from the Latin word corona, for a crown, and the ancient Greek koron, meaning garland or wreath, because of the spiky fringe encircling these viruses. Most coronaviruses infect animals, such as bats, cats, and birds. Only 7, including COVID-19, SARS, and MERS, are known to infect humans. SARS is thought to have evolved from infecting bats to civet cats to humans in China. MERS evolved from bats to camels to humans in the Middle East. But no one knows precisely where coronavirus came from, though a leading hypothesis is that bats were once again the original source. They spread the virus to another animal species, possibly a pangolin, where it jumped to humans. 2. What are the symptoms? 2 of the 7 coronaviruses that infect humans, SARS and MERS, can cause severe pneumonia and even death in 10 and more than 30% of cases, respectively. But others lead to milder symptoms, like a common cold. At the moment, we know coronavirus can cause pneumonia and that it too can kill, but while it seems to be less deadly than SARS and MERS, it's not yet clear by precisely how much. Some of the best evidence on the question comes from a February 16 China Center for Disease Control report looking at the outcomes of the first 72,314 patients with confirmed or suspected coronavirus in mainland China. It's the largest such analysis to date, and it found an overall case fatality rate of 2.3% lower than both SARS and MERS. Overall, the researchers characterized 81% of the cases as mild and 19% as severe or critical. As for symptoms, fever, dry cough, and fatigue are most common, while thick mucus from coughs, shortness of breath, sore throat, and headache are less common, according to China's data. No one knows the precise incubation period for the virus, but symptoms can show up anywhere from 1 day to 2 weeks after exposure, according to a WHO report on China's response. 3. What should I do if I think I have COVID-19? If you're in a high-risk group over the age of 60 with an underlying health condition, seek medical treatment immediately, and let your hospital or health care provider know you suspect COVID-19 before showing up. Otherwise, stay at home and call a health professional. There's a good chance you'll recover with nothing more than rest and fluids. But you will need to self-isolate while sick to avoid spreading the disease to others, including any people in your home. 4. How do coronaviruses spread? We don't yet know exactly how SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes the coronavirus disease, spreads, but we do have a lot of data on how MERS, SARS, and other respiratory viruses move from person to person. And that's mainly through exposure to droplets from coughing or sneezing. So when an infected person coughs or sneezes, they let out a spray, and if these droplets reach the nose, eyes, or mouth of another person, they can pass on the virus. In rarer cases, a person might catch a respiratory disease indirectly, via touching droplets on surfaces and then touching mucosal membranes in the mouth, eyes, and nose, she added. 5. Is this a deadly pandemic? The WHO has officially declared the outbreak a pandemic, with the disease in more than 100 countries and major epidemics in several regions of the world. That means containing the virus, fully halting its spread, is no longer the goal but rather a mitigation of fast spread and harm reduction. Keep in mind, the P word doesn't say anything about the severity of coronavirus. A disease can spread widely and become a pandemic without being particularly severe. And no one knows yet what the ultimate effects of this pandemic will look like, mostly because we don't yet know precisely how lethal the disease is. There was a time when it seemed possible that China might contain the virus and the outbreaks outside of China would fizzle out, spelling the end of this public health emergency. But there are now so many around the world, and the very real possibility that the virus is circulating, undetected, in even more countries, especially those with weak health systems, that containment appears out of reach. This means we're likely to see more sickness and death in many countries as cases grow from one-off travelers or small clusters to full-blown outbreaks. Please share this video to avoid death in coronavirus across the globe. Thanks for watching.